Hey guys, this is going to be a little bit different from the videos that I usually do, and for good reason I think. I want to take a moment and have an open and honest discussion about depression. So if you aren't in the mood to listen to this, or it's too much for you, or you just don't care, you are welcome to head out. But if you are suffering with depression or know someone who is suffering and you want to hear what I have to say, I'd love for you to stick around. Maybe we can come to some kind of catharsis at the end of the video. Or maybe you'll at least know that you aren't alone. And to be clear, I am not a healthcare professional. I am just speaking about my own experience here. And this isn't supposed to be a woe is me, look at all of my problems type video. I'm just speaking openly and honestly about this topic because so many of us experience it, and so many people are embarrassed to speak freely about it. Depression. That evil little word that everyone is so afraid of. A word that holds so much weight and can bring a human being to the lowest point possible. A word that can ruin families, ruin relationships, and completely ruin the human experience. It has been stigmatized and ignored for too long. People are afraid to even admit that they're depressed, so it's impossible to get to the root of the problem. We as humans tend to put up walls where we're afraid to admit our flaws, afraid to admit our sadness, afraid to admit that we aren't perfect. Well, guess what? I am Philosophical Pickle, and I have depression. Yep, had it most of my adult life, going on 7 years now, and I can admit it. Severe, crippling depression. And because of the stigma connected to the word, it was hard to admit for a while. People constantly tell you, you're just sad. Get some sunshine. Go for a walk. Push through, you'll get over it. People who say these things are either deflecting from their own depression by making the solution sound so easy, or they don't know what they're talking about. So, what is depression? It's such a hard and nuanced topic to discuss because there is no clear-cut definition of it. It varies for each person, and each experience has different symptoms. But I can tell you this. Depression isn't something that you can just walk off. It isn't something that you can just kill by getting some sun. It isn't just simply being sad. Yes, every person on the planet gets sad. Tremendously sad at times. But being sad is not the same as being depressed. You can remedy sadness, but depression is unwavering. It isn't logical, it doesn't make sense, it comes whenever it wants, and stays as long as it wants. It is a wave of existential sadness that permeates through every fiber of your mind and soul. It attacks your deepest insecurities and makes you a prisoner of your own mind. And you might not even know that you're depressed. You might think that you're sad at the moment, but it could really be something deeper. It can be something little like not having the energy to get out of bed or take a shower, or something big like not wanting to go out in public and see other humans, or eventually taking your own life. It's not always suicidal for me though. It's more losing feeling for everything. Feeling numb, feeling empty, feeling hollow, feeling alone. Even if you are surrounded by a wonderful family, it can feel like you are in a dark forest and they are all blurry shapes to you. A deep and excruciating sadness to the point where there is no joy in the world. It's hard to interact with my family, it's hard to get in a car, it's hard to find the inspiration to make a video, it's hard to go to work, it's hard to brush my teeth, and it's hard to even get up to go to the bathroom. You just feel a heavy burden. So heavy that sometimes you just want to get rid of it. There's a voice in your head literally telling you that you're no good. You're not good enough. The 8 hours of work you did today wasn't good enough. The love you just made to your spouse wasn't good enough. That art you made wasn't good enough. The way you interacted with the girl at the cash register at Walmart wasn't good enough. You'll have these little victories in your head like, hey, I actually made my bed. I actually went to the grocery store. I actually put pants on today. And people don't understand how incredibly hard even that can be. Then, when society expects more out of you, you think, don't you see how hard it was for me to even get out of bed today? No, they don't. It's an internal suffering and a disease that doesn't allow you to live a functional life. And sometimes it is so overwhelming that you just want to die. Simply die. And that's a cold hard fact. I have had suicidal thoughts many times, but thankfully, I've never gotten to the stage where I actually plan it. I've definitely thought about how I would do it, and I thought I wanted to do it, but I never really put anything into motion. I'm not sure why. It might be my upbringing, the thought of my parents' sadness, or the fact that I have children now and I couldn't fathom leaving them. I don't know, but every time I get to the edge, there's something deep down inside that pulls me back to the light. At least for a little while, until the next time I feel imprisoned in my own head. But some people aren't as lucky, or they don't have the mental fortitude to handle it. And unfortunately, they go through with it, and it destroys everyone around them. The people around you are left to pick up the pieces. And I honestly can't say if it's a selfish move or not. I'm not gonna stigmatize or judge anyone who couldn't handle life. Someone whose burdens were so heavy that they'd rather lay in the ground because the unknown has to be better than this hell we're living in. I sympathize with that, and we need to stop judging the people who do it as weak and get to the root cause of why they're doing it. If you haven't experienced depression and suicidal thoughts, you just don't get it. And I'm not saying that people without depression don't have any problems and they automatically have a great life, because there are still so many illnesses and diseases out there that destroy people. I'm just saying, we need to stop telling people to get over it. Just put your head down and go to work like a good citizen. Just be normal. Guess what? Some of us aren't capable of that, and society just pushes us closer and closer to the edge. If you are feeling suicidal, please call or message someone. It doesn't matter what time it is or who you call. It doesn't have to be a professional hotline or some number you got from a doctor's office either. Call your brother, sister, mom, dad, friend, coworker, anyone. Just talk to them and try to ground yourself. I often feel like I'm floating into a literal abyss, as if I'm not living in my own body, and I just need to ground myself. Remember what it's like to have feeling. Remember what it's like to taste ice cream. Remember what it's like to laugh at a funny joke. But the fucked up thing is, it's not always that easy. Sometimes talking to someone about your problems doesn't even help. You're just this empty phantom, floating through life with no direction and no meaning, and no words can help remedy the pain. So for this reason, I understand why people get so personally connected to things like movies and sports. When you find joy in something and someone critiques that, it's easy to feel like they are critiquing that little part of you that felt some happiness. But they're not. It's okay to separate yourself from that art and say, okay, this isn't me. I didn't help make this film. I don't actually play for my favorite team. I'm just a fan. But at the same time, being a fan is so important, at least to me. Having that escapism of watching a great movie or a great NFL playoff game, that is quintessential for me, and to a lot of other people as well. And also, sometimes I'll review something or discuss a topic and I might be harsher on it because I was depressed when I watched it. Maybe I wasn't able to fully experience that movie or truly feel the emotion of it because I felt numb on that specific day. So for that reason, you can't trust anyone's opinion on a movie or a TV show. Go watch it for yourself. Humans are very volatile and emotional people with great capacity for happiness and sadness, and it wavers on different days. There are periods of time, whether it's a couple days or a couple weeks, where I wake up and I just bide my time until I can go to sleep again. I have no goals and no motivation to do anything. I'm just seeing what I can do to fill my time until I can go to sleep again. And that's a sad reality, but a very true one. Days where I can barely speak to people because the words won't come out. Brain fog, memory issues, weight loss, weight gain, intense anxiety, broken relationships. Depression is something that completely takes over your life, and you're just wandering around looking for the next thing to numb you. You don't wake up like a normal person and think, I'm ready to get going. What are my goals for the day? You really think, okay, what's the next thing that's gonna numb me? And I think social media has had a huge impact on this. Constantly seeing people taking pictures at their best angles with perfect filters. Seeing the perfect body that makes you feel inferior. That feeling of getting followers or friends that you don't even know. Posting updates about your life. Constantly looking for other people's acceptance. And when that approval doesn't meet your expectation, it can do tremendous damage to your mental wellness. And it's hard, man. Like fast food. It's so convenient and cheap to eat this terrible schlock that has been chemically altered, and it has an effect on you over time. Eating poorly, being on the internet, losing your job, breaking up with your partner, losing a loved one. These things can have a life-changing impact on you, and you never know what will be the final thing to push someone over the edge. That's why it's so important to be polite to people, because after all they've been through, one bad interaction could be the thing that sends them jumping off the top of a building. It really is so imperative that we discern how to talk to people, and this internet culture hasn't helped anything. People anonymously trolling and bullying behind a keyboard has been profoundly damaging to so many people's mental well-being. And some of the people telling others to kill themselves and do terrible things are depressed themselves, and they just want to inflict that sadness and emptiness onto others. It's a vicious cycle, and sometimes I've been caught up in this cycle, and I need to do better. Depression is an absolute sickness, and I can't tell you how to personally fix it. I can't. All I can tell you is that you are not alone. If anything, just remember that. When you are alone at night and you're thinking, no one understands what's happening to me. I feel like I'm on an island and no one could possibly understand my plight. Hey, I do. I've been to the darkest corners of the human brain and almost lost my mind on many occasions. I understand, and I am here for you. Seriously, if you're depressed or anxious and you just want to talk to someone, message me on Twitter. My DMs are always open, and I will reply to you. I'm not kidding. Anytime. I know how hard it is to openly tell someone about your flaws, but it's okay. Be transparent. Be open, be vulnerable, or not. Being vulnerable is something that is extremely hard for me, so I understand if you can't do it. In that case, let's talk about movies and pop culture. Talk about sports, video games, action figures, television, anything you want, and just get your mind off of it for a little bit. I don't have the answer for depression. I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate my own. But if I have any advice for you, it's this. Go for a jog. Seriously. Do some push-ups, jumping jacks, some kind of exercise. It will get the blood flowing to your brain and help you zone out for a bit. Create something. Anything. Draw, paint, sculpt, write. Even if you aren't artistic, write down exactly how you're feeling on a piece of paper. And if anything, you'll be creating a bridge to yourself. Eat healthier. This one is specifically hard for me as I am addicted to sugar, but eat something healthy. Anything. It might not lead to anything, but it might be a start that leads to healthier habits. Take a hot shower. Even if you aren't dirty, just go stand under the water. Let it hit your skin and allow yourself to feel something. Breathe in the steam. Cry. Cry hard. Whenever I get too overwhelmed and I feel like I'm going to explode, it helps to just cry. It lets out all of my emotions without having to say a word. And if you think you're not supposed to cry because you're a man, that's bullshit. It's very healthy to cry, and we need to put an end to that myth that real men can't show their emotions. I think you're stronger if you have the confidence to put your emotions out there like that. And if you can, try and talk to a therapist. I still need to do this myself, but I'm honestly afraid of what they'll say. I'm afraid to hear someone confirm my deepest fears. That I am losing my mind, that I'm crazy, that I have to take medicine, that I'm not normal. It's hard to take that leap, to tell a stranger your darkest secrets and be completely vulnerable. Plus, it really should be more accessible for people. But if you have the ability, try it out. Try anything, everything. Maybe most things won't help you, but I promise that something will work. There is something out there that'll make you feel better. Just don't give up. Please, I am personally telling you that I care about you, and I want you here. Every person on this planet has a purpose, and so do you. I know it's hard to fathom that sometimes, and it's easy to think you're just this waste of space, but I, Philosophical Pickle, need you to stay. Just hold on a little bit longer, because things could get better at any moment. Depression can hit you like a ton of bricks, but it can leave just as quickly. Let's not forget that. Don't forget the good days, because there will be more to come, and you won't want to miss it. I just wanted to openly and honestly talk about this issue because it's something that has affected me for years, and I know so many others are going through it, especially in the time we're living in with the pandemic, fear-mongering, and false information by the media, the dark web, copious amounts of porn, fast food at our fingertips. Depression and anxiety are at an all-time high, and this is something that needs to be said. I have depression. People have depression, and it's something that we should be able to discuss more freely. Find the things that bring you joy. Find the things that ground you. Find the people that appreciate your true value. And just know, you are not alone. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. I really appreciate you listening. And until we meet again, peace out.